Hey, what's up everyone? Today I'm back in Puerto Vallarta, Mexico with my real estate agent friend Daniel Chemsian. He drives me around town to check out different neighborhoods and condos so you can get an inside peek as to what it's like to live in Puerto Vallarta. If you haven't watched our other videos on PV, the links are above. And don't forget to subscribe and click on that little bell so you'll be notified and never miss an episode. Enjoy the ride.
Did you have a little break before coming down here?
Break? What are you talking about? Asians don't get breaks. We work until we die, and that's it. No, so where are we going?
Actually, you know what, Lisa? Since we were chit-chatting about real estate, I want to show you the hotel zone. And from there...
Okay, real estate, but why are we going to a hotel zone? I'm in hotels all the time. I'm not buying a hotel.
You're not buying a hotel?
No.
Well, it's called the hotel zone because originally that region, hotels were popped up. And now you have condominium buildings there as well. So the zoning has changed along that strip. And you've got brand new condominium buildings that have been going up. So
It's a little bit outside. I feel like it's outside of the city, the center of everything, right? So it's people who kind of want something more quiet. It's really close to the airport.
yeah, it's close to the airport. So the hotel zone is between the airport and downtown. So it's like smack in the middle. And people like it there because it's quiet. You're right on the beach. All those buildings are right on the beach, and you have beautiful views. And it's all new construction as well.
Wow.
Yeah.
I'm curious.
So this is the older part of the hotel zone, and what you can see is older structures, 2 or 3 stories, commercial spaces, and some older buildings. So this is on the main avenue that leads up to the airport. As we get to the northern end of the hotel zone, there was a lot of raw land there. Like when I moved here in 2003, so it was all raw land, and then that's where you're going to see the new condominium buildings that have gone up.
I don't think I've actually noticed them, to be
No?
honest.
Well, usually you're just zipping probably back
Yeah.
into town, and you're probably tired from like 2 connection flights or something. You just want to go to your room and
No, I
freshen
mean,
up.
because there's no reason to spend time down here. So what else
No.
is down here? I mean, I guess you have shopping and...
So yeah, so what's happened is over the last 10 years, the hotel zone slowly has been building up. Not so much residential, but commercial, like a whole bunch of cute little restaurants, steakhouses, some dance clubs, on the opposite side of the road. You'll see those as well. What's kind of cool is with these new neighborhoods, all the electrical and everything is underground. So you don't have wires hanging, all over
so
the place.
smart.
So like a
But
spider
you don't
web.
get hurricanes here.
No, we don't. But because we're a deep bay, we have the Sierra Madre Mountains. Both of those protect us against the hurricanes, so we're kind of fortunate. We have our torrential downpours during the rainy season. We get some heavy, heavy rains.
Do you get flooding here?
But when it rains really, really hard, like flat areas like this, sometimes you might have a few inches or like a foot or so of water. But when Mother Nature just kind of pours like that.
It's pretty humbling, though, I have to say. All of
yeah.
Central America, when you see those rainstorms.
Now we're entering, Risa, the newer part in terms of construction, the hotel zone. So that's the Bayview Grand. You're seeing over there the big buildings, the 3 towers.
So those are all hotels.
Those are all privately owned condos. This is a new outdoor mall. It's called La Isla. This was completed a few years ago. And that's the peninsula, the 3 towers over there as well. So these are all new condominium buildings that have gone up over the last 10 years.
Wow.
Yeah, and this is the Plaza Peninsula as well.
So this was all just land?
This is all just land, yeah. When I moved here, this is all land. And starting in 2005 and 6, they started building, and some of them were completed around 8 or 9.
So how much do those go for?
Well, a lot of the if you're looking for a 1-bedroom, you're starting off at around 125, 150,000. And for a 2-bedroom, you're looking at around 210 up to $1 million. For like a penthouse or a unit maybe on the 20th floor, 19th floor, corner
with
unit.
Like all views,
incredible views, the views of everything, the world.
Just the world. What happens when people want to sell?
Mm-hmm.
What kind of taxes do they have to pay? Is there like special...
Capital gains tax?
Yeah, so is there a capital gains tax they have to pay here in Mexico?
Yes, you pay your capital gains tax here.
And how much is that generally?
Right now the capital gains tax is 35% of your gain. but you can apply for exemption. There are certain criteria you have to meet in order to qualify for the exemption. And the maximum exemption right now with the current exchange rate is roughly $250,000 of your gain. So you're exempt that amount,
you're
and
exempt.
anything above that you pay 35%.
Oh, so that's not bad.
No, no, there are deductions as well. But when we discussed earlier, you can deduct the notary fees. When you sell, the transfer tax that you paid when you bought the property, when you have that receipt, you can deduct that as well. So there are deductions, and then if you qualify for the exemption, you have to be a temporary or permanent resident. If you're a foreigner, okay, you have to be a temporary or permanent resident. You have to have a utility bill, a Mexican tax ID number. So we help our clients kind of get all the ducks lined up when they're going to sell, to try to save them as much money, so they have a sense of what they're going to net. So when an offer comes in,
when they're
about to sell, when they're selling,
yeah,
when they're selling.
So how much would you say apartments on average, I would say 2019, 2020, are appreciating?
Well, from 2018, certain areas the property values have increased more than others, just like I'm sure in New York as well. For example, in the romantic zone where my office is at, over the last few years, it's appreciated on the average between 5 and 6.5% per year.
Wow.
So, yeah.
So where are we going now?
So right now we're entering Fluvial. So this neighborhood didn't exist about 20 years ago. Brand new. Most of the properties here are houses and commercial along the main drag. So this is where we're at. Then, as I mentioned earlier, you don't see any electrical lines anywhere because everything is underground, and it's beautifully lined up with the palm trees and the parks.
Looks like a closed community or something, but it's not.
It's not a gated community. No. These are all public streets you can go in. But
look at the mountains.
Yeah, the mountains. We're getting closer to the mountains, right? And the houses in Fluvial, typically they start around 140, 150,000 for a 2-bedroom, and it goes up from there.
So it's homes and not condos?
Correct, they're homes. There's a condo project being built. It's one of the first ones in a long time, and the 2 bedrooms there are starting around 220,000. And you can see, commercial buildings going up over here, offices. There are sushi restaurants. I'm gonna make a left turn over here.
Oh, and there it is. America, Costco.
That's like the Disneyland for adults here. On Sundays, you make your Costco run. A lot of expats are starting to invest here because houses more towards a romantic zone in Conchas Chinas and Amapas. We're going to go there later on today. The price points are a lot higher. So over here, you can find a house, in Fluvial for 150, 200,000, whereas, in other parts of the city, it's going to be double or more.
So you think these are people still living here full time, or is this kind of your snowbirds still?
No, there are a lot more full-time people living over here. You also have Mexican nationals that have moved over here and are working here as well, because the economy here is doing pretty well, especially in real estate and construction and the tourism. So you've had a lot of families moving to Vallarta from other parts of Mexico recently.
So from here to downtown, say like a 15-minute drive?
Less than that.
Yeah.
And then you can start seeing these little houses.
Oh, so this is all new construction.
So these are new construction. Fluvial really started to build up, excuse me, about 10 years ago. So there are still a lot of empty lots, and they're slowly being bought up and built. So I remember
Can you buy land?
Yeah. See, there's an empty land. There's a lot there. You can buy that land. I sold a corner lot here about 4 years ago for $100,000.
Wow. So how much would it cost to build a house on land?
It really depends on the area. So on the flats, it's going to cost less.
This is a fancy house.
Yeah, this house is probably around 250, 300,000. Yeah, but you can see there are a lot of lots still available. Right. Another nice thing is in Fluvial, you have these cute little parks, so you can bring the family over here, or if you've got a pet.
It's a nice little neighborhood.
Yeah, and it's close to town, so if you want to go to to the boardwalk to the Malecon and kind of have a few drinks and meet up with your friends and walk around and come back here. It's nice and quiet. It's all residential here. There's nothing commercial over here. I think over the next 5 years, you're going to see more and more houses popping up. It's going to get more and more dense. But for the time being, it's a relatively new neighborhood and it's pretty big. So there's a lot of land available, a lot of opportunities for people to buy 2 or 3 lots and build a big house, or just buy a single lot. It's funny. People generally come down here like, oh, I want something with ocean views, and then all of a sudden take them to the mountains a little bit. Like,
I'm much more of a mountain girl.
It's beautiful, to be there. When I live in the mountains and I walk my dogs in the neighborhood, and especially this time of the year, it's really pretty. Everything's just so it's like a canopy of green. All right, so we just left Fluvial, and I'm going to show you an adjacent neighborhood called Versailles. And Versailles is becoming very popular right now. There's a lot of construction going on. It's kind of like...
What's the appeal?
It's close to town. It's not in town, but it's very close. It's very central, and it's not as densely populated, nor do you have that many buildings there, because Versailles was just like a middle-class residential neighborhood. The city has been...
You probably have a little bit more breathing room, right?
You have a breathing room in terms of, less neighbors, but also the price point. So in Versailles, you're probably anywhere from 30 to 40% less than what you would see typically in the romantic zone. So you get more real estate for your money.
How big are those homes? So like 2-3 bedroom?
Yeah, the houses in Versailles, you're looking at right now 2 bedrooms are starting at around 400,000, 300. Sometimes you can get one for like 350, 375. The same house in Conchas Chinas would be around 750, 800.
Wow.
Yeah. The city has been pumping some infrastructure funds into Versailles, and they're redoing the streets. So I've got a brand new development that's going to break ground in a few months. We're waiting for the street to be repaved. And actually, it's right over here on the left. Actually, do you mind if we go down there?
Sure.
You want to check it out? We can just kind of walk down.
Let's do it.
Let's do it. Yeah, they're adding all the really nice streets over here with the planters. Another cool thing is with the sidewalks, they're also putting in handicap ramps as well.
Oh, that's great.
So in the old days, they didn't have that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So they're just kind of, trying to make it handicap access. They're moving really fast. The hard work is done with the excavation. Now they're setting in all the cobblestones. So you can see how the street comes to life. So this is our new project. It's called the Grand Trianon. And they're going to start building, once the streets are done, they're going to start coming in and do the excavation and start on the project. And it's going to be delivered around March of 2021, more or less, or maybe summertime. 2-bedroom condos are starting at around 180,000.
Oh, look, there you are.
Yeah.
So that's what it's going to look like?
Yeah, look at the rooftop with the pool. They're all 2 bedrooms and 3 bedrooms unit, total of 24 condos. The rooftop amenities, every unit would have a parking space as well. And you can see the lot size over here. It's kind of cool. You see this fig tree? So their plan is to keep the fig tree and build construct the condos around it. So it's really kind of cool.
That's awesome.
That's the plan.
Makes me happy.
Yeah, because they really don't want to get rid of it. It's a really pretty tree.
It's beautiful. So if anybody wants to get in, first dibs, right?
Yeah, first dibs. Yeah. And I think from like the 3rd or 4th floor up, you're going to start to see some water views and city views as well.
Oh.
Yeah.
How many floors?
7 stories total.
With an elevator.
Yeah. Yeah, of course. There's another new building that's gone up. Watch your step. Oops. It's kind of tough when people they've never been here before, and they're watching television and they see travel shows, and typically they just show the highlights and the hot spots of the city.
Yeah.
But there's a lot more to the city than just like the tourist zones, and this is one of them. And being able to walk through and kind of get a feel for it is really important.
Yeah,
so,
I think so.
Yeah.
I've never been here, and I've been here how many times?
You've been coming down here for 5 or 6 years now, haven't you?
Yeah.
I think it's very important if someone is thinking of moving here, whether they want to rent and live, long-term basis, or they want to buy a property, besides just driving around with a real estate agent, just looking at homes, I suggest, take some time, go to these neighborhoods on your own, and not be kind of have this time restraint with your agent, and just kind of walk around and check out the restaurants and get a vibe for the neighborhood, and go in the daytime and then go at night, because the vibes daytime and nighttime are going to be totally different, and really see if that's the right area for you. Just driving by it once or twice and looking at the house and leaving doesn't necessarily paint the full picture.